I recently made a video where I tried to build a Minecraft house using modern building techniques in a 10-year-old Minecraft version. And that got me thinking. The version I was playing on, 1.8.9, was released in 2015. That's roughly 5 years, closer to 6 years, of the game being out. But of course there were no new Minecraft blocks added in 2015, so I was really only using Minecraft blocks that were added in the first 5 years. So that got me thinking anyway. In this video, I would like to use Minecraft blocks that were only added recently. And when I say recently, I mean since 2020. So in the last 5 years, what's been added, I can only use those blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the inventory and I'm going to see which blocks have been added since 2020. And those are going to be the only blocks I'll be able to use in this video. Also, if you have any argument to think 5 years is a bit too long, they can't be considered new anymore, sure, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do this again, but with some other sort of time range. Maybe just in the last 2 years, the last 3 years. You let me know. But right now we're building with blocks that were only added up until 5 years ago. Okay, so after spending absolutely ages placing these down, I've come to realize that we have a lot more blocks than I expected added over the past 5 years. So I don't know, maybe 5 years was too much of a buffer zone, but we'll work with this. I just think it would be very annoying that we can't use any sort of spruce or grass or cobblestone or stone or that sort of stuff, because those are like the basics to building, and we can't use any of those, although we do have a lot of compensation. We have all the copper variants, we have all the tough variants, all deep slate, blackstone. Man, building has really changed over the past 5 years with the additions of all these blocks. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wood types added over 5 years, so that's crazy. And like, yeah, we have a lot to work with. Obviously I didn't place down every single block added, but I just placed down like the general sort of building blocks that I would use. Also, shelf blocks have been added, and every single variant of shelves has technically been added. So I could use spruce shelves if I wanted to, because those were added just like a few months ago. But it feels like cheating, right? So I could use different wood variants for the hanging signs and for shelves, but I'm not going to, because it just feels like cheating. So I will only use from these wood variants that I have available. But yeah, so I mean, I'm thinking I could start building on this hill. It seems like a very picturesque location. Or maybe I could build at the coastline. I think actually I might do that. It's like somewhere over here around the coastline could look very nice. And I think I know what I might go for. Yeah, something over here at this stony shore. This could look good. I think this is a good thumbnail location. I'll start building right here. So the first problem we have is that the terrain here looks rubbish, but I've just come to realize that I mean I could terraform this, but I would be using grass blocks, and I feel like that might be breaking my own rules. So I will use moss just to terraform this place. I'm not sure if it's going to look too good, but we'll give it a shot. Right, I've just terraformed this up with moss because I couldn't risk anyone in the comment section saying, no, you use grass, you're not allowed to use grass. Okay, I use moss. You're welcome. Now, I'm not thinking of using all of these blocks, but I would like to use most of them. Now, I would definitely like to use myself a bit of deep slate. That's basically a no-brainer. I think deep slate is probably like one of the most overpowered categories. Also, along with tough, maybe even some mud, and potentially a tiny bit of blackstone. I don't know. No, we don't need blackstone. Maybe for something else. Not right now. So far, I just want to do the foundation for this thing. So obviously, we'll start off here. I could do something with perhaps even pale moss and maybe a little bit of a gradient. We don't have ourselves any mossy cobblestone, sadly, for this, but I think this can also look quite good, because thankfully moss and pale moss actually, like, they work very well together. And so does tough. Tough blends quite well too. So far this isn't looking too bad. It's a bit generic, it's a bit normal, right? Nothing too special about it. Right, I think like the base of it is definitely done. I think it looks quite nice. So what I'm thinking of is that this is like the base of like the house or whatever I'm building, and then like the whole structure is really going to go on top of this. And so what I'm thinking of doing is some sort of a floor like this. Even though this might look a little bit strange from the start, I think it's going to look quite cool, because we'll be able to take these blocks and we'll be able to like slowly sort of blend into like this, if that makes sense. I don't know, I might be over detailing, I might be over blending. We'll see how it looks at the end. But so far, I think I'm doing quite a good job. That might look a little stupid, might look a bit bad, and Might be digging a hole for myself because I did say the gradients might be overused in some aspects. I think I might be overusing a gradient again. It's fine. It's all right. I'll fix this. You know what? We'll ignore it for now because what I want to do is I want to like work out some sort of a base for this house. And you know, I'm thinking, I mean, pale wood is fantastic as well as calcite. They work together very well. So I'm just thinking mangrove log. That we could be good to go to make like a house of some description. This is my plan. Hear me out. What about that? Maybe one of those here and maybe one of those there. Evenly spaced out. No. This is why you think of your proportions first. But that's not too bad, is it? No, definitely just one. All right, since I have axiom, I'm just gonna pull that back one block. Now it has a 1 block center, so that's good. And this is gonna be the plan for the texture. I'll be able to do something along the lines of this. So I'll be able to do calcite on the bottom, a bit of that, and then that could perhaps transition into a bit of that. And oh, now we're cooking, people. Now we're cooking. I know a lot of people aren't particularly fans of gradients that don't really make sense. Does this gradient make sense? I don't know, but the thing is, it does look cool. Right? Obviously, I have to implement a bit more shape to this thing, but yes, I'm enjoying it. I think the pale and the cherry might clash a bit too much. But you know, so far I'm liking the way this is looking, and yeah, I think we are going for a bit of a bigger build here. That's not too bad. I'm really liking this upper section here, and I think, like sort of like to finish it off at the end, we'll do something along the lines of this. I'm thinking, you know, maybe just a little bit of pale wood here and there, just a little splotches of it. Nothing too special, but just little traces so that people know that, yeah, the gradient still continues. And so far, I'm enjoying this build quite a bit. I mean, what I'll do is I'll clone this and I'll put it on the other side as well. And yeah, we're getting a build together. We're getting a build together. It's coming together quite well. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it to turn out like this. I actually really like the way it looks so far. And I'm thinking for this side, like I did here, I might do a bit of an indent. Not for any particularly special reason, just because I think it looks cool. And yeah, so far we're looking all right. It's probably a good point to add some sort of windows or something like that. So I'm thinking that there and that's there. I can't use scaffolding, that was added in 2019, but I'd like to use something. Oh, I got an idea. We can use bamboo fences. Bamboo fences are always nice. Let's check it. Oh yeah, looks good. Looks quite good. And yeah, already I'm actually really liking this. We can even use bamboo trapdoors, so that's a good one. Something like that. And then for the windows, and this is what we have for the windows. I think this build really is coming together quite well. The bamboo, I must say, is a really nice addition to it. Yeah. But right, what I want to do next is I need to come up with some sort of a roof. Now I'm thinking of using mangrove. That's probably my favorite out of these. And these 2 blocks can be used for a roof very nicely. But I'm thinking of also maybe mixing in some crimson and maybe a little bit of this. Potentially a little bit of that. If that's too red, I'll remove it, but it might look quite good. And obviously this thing needs a trim, so we'll get some blackstone. And we'll use like blackstone stairs or something to that extent for this. Yeah, the first thing I'm doing is I'm just adding like this blackstone trim around this thing. And I think in some parts, maybe a tiny bit of deep slate is welcome, but not in all of it, just in some parts, something like that. Looks good enough. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to like work out the shape of the roof, and I'm thinking of something like this. Don't have a 1 block center, but that's okay. And yeah, this does not look bad at all. We have our shape, we have our proportions. I think we can work with this. So I'm thinking the first block I'd want to use is a bit of mangrove here. I might have gone a bit too big with this build, but I don't really mind. I think it looks cool. And then for this portion down here, I think I want to use crimson. And we're going to get these two to blend together because I can't stop them. Gradients, they're just so cool. You know what I mean? God, gradients. I mean, already, this is looking quite good. This build, so far, looking quite nice, I must say. I really like it. At the top, maybe I would like to use a bit of this sort of mangrove. It's got like this sort of washed out effect. I think for the base here, I'd like to use a lot of this sort of crimson. Oh, and look at that roof. I think it's really good. And you know, I do just want to, just a little bit of this. Maybe a little bit of that. I just want to see what it's going to look like. Yeah, that red is a bit too strong to use up there, so I'm not going to do that. And I'll just keep it mangrove. Ooh, but I think what would look really cool is just a little spot. Just a little spot of these. Just give me a second. Oh, but watch this though. Now, what's up? What's up? This is a legendary gradient. I've seen this somewhere before. Oh yeah, Hermitcraft Season 9. This is false symmetry, I'm pretty sure. Made something along the lines of this, and it looks incredibly cool. Because this obviously blends very well with the crimson. Yeah, Mojang has spoiled us. Mojang has spoiled us with fantastic blocks that look incredibly cool. I do not want to see one single block vomit comment, okay? No. This is not block vomit, this is art. This is art right here. And yes, I have criticized gradients in the past, but they're still really good. They still look fantastic. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I really like the way this looks. Maybe we can even oxidize copper. Just one block there. That's good enough. Yeah, this is one of the best roofs I think I've made in a long time. However, I am thinking of adding like an extension to like outside of the roof, like maybe how high? Like maybe here. I think an extension would look very, very nice here. Something along the lines of this will be fantastic. Ooh, I think this is gonna look quite good. It's like another window right here. Ooh, and I'm liking the way this is looking. Yeah, we've got a winner. We've got a winner. Okay, with this extension on the roof, this house looks a lot cooler now. I just want to reintroduce the pink tones a little bit at the bottom here. Sort of like a reverse gradient from what we had before, just because it feels slightly out of place in some areas. Yeah, this build is fantastic. Now, it's not a cup of tea for everyone. Not everyone likes this sort of style. I like it anyway. And with Axiom, of course, we can directly copy the other side, well, to the other side. Now, I could call it quits here, or I could add an extension, which is what I'm planning to do, because whilst it is a really nice build, it's pretty geometrical, nothing too fancy happening. Oh my goodness, look at my inventory. It's full of blocks, full of different kinds of blocks, and these are only blocks that have been added in the past 5 years. Mojang really got to work in these past few years. They've been delivering like crazy. With the amount that Mojang has been delivering and cooking in these past 5 years, they might turn into like a food delivery company at this point. I'm thinking of making this portion a little bit darker than the rest of it because it's a bit higher up than that part. Ooh, I was about to use myself some pink wool, but that's against the rules. I'm sorry. I can only use 5-year-old blocks, and that thing has existed in the game for ages. Now, for this extension of the build, I'm thinking of using slightly different colors. Maybe I could use a bit of mud, just because we haven't used any of that so far. And I'm wondering, could we get some of the copperies and the resin mixed into this? Oh, that could look good. That could look good. We're using mud. We're using a bit of that, and then we'll get this. We'll get that. We'll get this, that, and that. Just let me cook. I have a vision. It's gonna be amazing. Now, surprisingly, mud and planks actually blend quite well together, and you're gonna see what I mean in just a second, because look at that. Look at this. Blendage is happening right here. Right before your eyes, we're blending blocks. Blending blocks like you haven't seen before. So it doesn't blend particularly great with the planks, but it still works. And I will use a variety of these, like coppery blocks. Okay, so from afar, this thing looks absolutely just like chef's kiss, right? I think it looks chef's kiss. But we're not done because it's time to do the roof. It's time to do the roofery. Yeah, I probably didn't need to do this wall, to be honest, because it is getting covered up. But I guess from the other side, I'll just copy it to this side because there's no extension on this side. But yeah, what I'm thinking of doing is maybe at the top, I could put myself a few warped planks, and then I'll move on to like copper. And obviously we'll move over through all the stages of copper. This, and obviously a final layer of this. And I mean, without any gradients, it looks quite good. However, I also want to include the resin, and that might be a bit of a big jump, but I'm sure it'll work if we do something along the lines of this. Instead of making it a up-down gradient, we're going to make it like a diagonal gradient. So this part here will be more orange, and we'll be able to squeeze in a little bit more of this. Yeah, I love it. And oh, I'm liking the way this is looking. All right, I think it's fantastic. I think I'm cooking here. This is what I think I'm doing. I think I'm cooking very thoroughly. Okay, what do we think of this? Okay, this build here is clearly a winner. Come on, it's fantastic. Oh, maybe should have used a bit of this. Could use a bit of this. Yeah, you know, maybe this is too dark. I'll just make it, yeah, less dark. Less dark, a bit of this, a bit of that, a little bit of that. Just one. Now this is good. Now it blends. Fantastic. So all I really have left to do is to copy this side over to this side to basically mirror the whole build this interior, fill in this part here, and the build will be done. Right, I'd say this build is now finished. I put in all the walls. Obviously, it could use some extra detail from the sides. That's alright. It's not meant to be a permanent thing. So this video is really just me trying to see which blocks were added in the last 5 years and what could I build with them? Just using those blocks, and here I have the answer. Quite a bit. It's a lot less limiting. There's been so many amazing blocks added in the last few years, and I didn't even use some of them. Like, I barely used deep slate. I barely used, like, basalt. I didn't use basalt at all. And amethyst, non-existent there. You know, maybe I could apply a tiny little spot of amethyst somewhere. I'm just wondering. Ooh, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't. Copper block goes back. Yeah, that's a lot better. But I really love the way this whole thing looks. Obviously, it's not my best work. I could do better. I could also spend ages just tinkering with this build, you know, just adding in detail. Like, obviously, these parts here look a bit rubbish. But, like, for just making this build quickly, I think it looks quite good. And, I'm happy with it. I like this build. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it looks good? Do you think I could have done something else? Did I forget any blocks, or did I break the rules? I don't know. I don't think I did, but maybe you can spot a block that was added maybe earlier than 5 years ago. Although I think I used everything correctly. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching the video, and let me know what you want me to do next time. I'll see you again in another video, and also thanks for all the recent support. It's been amazing, getting quite a few views. That is cool. Thank you, and keep it rolling, I guess. I mean, yeah. Also, thanks for all the subscribers. Yeah, we got like plus 400 subscribers in like 10 days, which is nice. In fact, we might potentially make it to 2K by the end of the year. Only if you subscribe, though. So, see you later. Bye bye.